Content warning. Today's episode of Pop Culture covers topics that may be disturbing for some viewers or listeners. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Hello, my lovely hummingbirds, and welcome back to another episode of Makeup and Motivation here on Pop Culture with your lovely host, Monroe. How's it going, everyone? If you are new or returning, this is the series on this channel where we cover everything that is the latest when it comes to the world of news, movies, media, music, entertainment, and popular culture, as well as creating some gorgeous makeup looks inspired by usually a character that go in line with today's topic of conversation, which today's is I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it. And we are taking inspiration by none other than Daphne Blake. But before we get into the makeup look, my lovely hummingbirds, I would really appreciate it if you could all join me in a moment of silence for the lives that we have lost in this past week in the world of music, movies, media, entertainment, popular culture, and due to conflicts around the world. Please join me now for this moment of silence. Thank you all for joining me in that moment of silence. I greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, the makeup look. Enjoy! Alright, y'all, let's get this Daphne-inspired look. Oh my god, look, my hair is so short. So, we're kicking it off with the e.l.f. Pore Putty Primer. Yes, I'm applying it to our eyelids. It is the only primer I had at the time. Obviously, start with a good moisturizer. The best way to get the best makeup is to have a good base on your face. And just a little preface, this video is actually 3 years old, which is why my hair is so short and a completely different color than it is now. But apply it to both sides and make sure you do let it dry a little bit before moving forward to the next step and applying any eyeshadow on top of it. Alright, the next two are stars of the show. They are from Dumb Blonde Glitter as well as our Venus Lime Crime palette in the shade Beam, which is a very pretty, very shimmery purple. We don't actually end up doing the second one. We go in with the Purple Haze by Glam Baddie palette. And we start off with Top Shelf because Daphne Blake is a top shelf. She is top tier. She is fashion icon queen of solving mysteries and looking pretty well doing it. But we're gonna add Beam first. I'm already getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited about this makeup look. And when you do, you're gonna start on the inner corner of your eye and fan it outward, kind of more on an angle. I had a whole plan, but you know, we gotta trust the process because the universe definitely had a different one for this makeup look. But because it is a little shimmery, make sure that you're not simply just swiping, but kind of doing a pat and swipe as well to get the most like pigment out of it. Alright, once we got a good shimmer and you turn it to the side and it sparkles and we look like we're gonna start in the next season of Euphoria, now we're gonna go in with the No Shades. Okay, because Daphne Blake is not a shady girl. And honestly, I don't think she goes out in the sun like that. But anyway, we're gonna apply that to the outer corner of our eye, blending inward, and like I said, really try to do it at an angle. We want this to look as sharp as possible. And you know, they should be sisters and twins, but honestly, they're looking like cousins right now on both sides. And this is what I meant about the universe had other plans. We were going to do angled, and they were like, nope, you better enter it all into that crease area. So go ahead and do that. And my lovely hummingbirds, if you know me, you know me. I love some glitter. Look at it, it's so purple. That top shelf purple. You're gonna go ahead, apply that in the in-between area of both previous shades, and then work it outward so that the first purple that you put on the nose shades does a like background shadow effect to that glitter, because we are trying to have everything blend in together beautifully. Doing 50 shades of purple here, y'all. And once you've applied it, look at it, so pretty, so sparkly. Do a little dancey dance for the sparkles. Got a phone call, so I had to go, but unfortunately I didn't get to record my actual process of my face. Everything is going to be in the description though of the video. And up next we're gonna go in with Peridot, as well as You're a Gem, because you are a gem, you are beautiful, you are stunning, you are everything. That Peridot is gonna go underneath, and we're gonna put that Alien is the pigment, the green that we saw, over it. No, I did Alien first and then Peridot, just to give it a little shimmer as well on the eyes. The under the eye eyeshadow always requires such focus from me because of my contacts. I don't want to get it in my eyes, so no waterline makeup for me. It'll definitely show in there and blur my vision, so I'm like, do this as precisely as possible. Once you have applied both of those, we're gonna go in with the You're a Gem, and you're gonna put that right next to the green, blend it in, as well as you're gonna blend it in upwards towards the purple. That concentration, me sweating. It was so hot when I recorded this too. I was like, 1, my face is gonna melt, 2, I'm gonna get it in my eye. But do it upwards, do a sweeping motion with this one. You don't want it like super pigmented, but you do want it to show a little bit. The whole basis for this color was because Daphne's hair is like orange, so I wanted to definitely incorporate a little bit of that into the makeup look as well, than just her signature purple and green. And then for the brow bone area, we went with the shade Sunstone. And it's also kind of an orangey shade, but very shimmery, very light, very sparkly. I love it. And I spritzed my face with some setting spray. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lippy. I'll see you in a second. What do we think? Is it giving Jeepers Freddy Save Me? We did use the Milani Cosmetics Orange Tina as well as the Glam Patty Peach Lip Gloss. So pretty. Love these so much. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the creation of this gorgeous makeup look. Without further ado, admire that glow, admire that blend. But also join me for today's episode of Pop Culture. I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it. Enjoy the video. Hi my lovely hummingbirds, what do we think about the makeup look? Is it giving Jinkies Freddy Save Me? Is it giving how's that for damsel in distress? Is it giving danger prone Daphne? Honestly, I think so. I love this makeup look. I am obsessed with it. And looking at it now and looking at this hair color, the urge to dye my hair is so strong, y'all. But I know that leads to a slippery slope. That leads back to platinum blonde and my hair can't do it. Especially since I box dyed. And I am currently red. But redder than this. More towards wine. Not the point. Today's makeup look is inspired by none other than Daphne Blake. Originally, if you saw it in the video and you're like, Monroe, what are you talking about? Your hair is like mad short. What growth. What progress that you've made. So that video is actually from 3 years ago to date. And to date, what is today? Actually. 3 years ago in a month. And I originally created the makeup look because I wanted to do this episode a lot sooner. It never ended up happening at that point in time just because of life and health issues and all this other shit that was going on at the time. And this makeup look I actually ended up doing when I used Wella for an influencer campaign, which, like, if you haven't gone to check it out and check out the rating on that, you definitely should. But the ends of my hair, I was like, that is the blonde I want to be again. But I just know that maintenance. Anyway, for today's topic of conversation, we are going to be discussing I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it. And if you recognize that line, yes, it is from our also purple wearing queen, Megara, from the Hercules and Hercules. The Hercules animated movie. And I don't know, but something about characters with purple eyes just gets me every time. It's a problem. I know it is. So today's topic of conversation goes in line with the makeup look just because of the character of Daphne Blake, all that she represents when it comes to the cartoon, when it comes to the movie where she was gorgeously represented by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Who married her in life, Freddie Prinze Jr. Honestly, greatest love story ever. I'm so happy. It is what helps me believe in love. Every day a little more. So before we get into all of that, because I'm already excited, I'm already like going on all these tangents, ready to talk about it, let's catch up a little bit of what's been going on in the world. First up, congratulations to Justin and Hailey Bieber on the birth of their baby Jack Blues Bieber. They posted a picture of little baby's foot with little teddy bear, and I'm like, oh, they finally have their baby. Justin finally has his baby. Aww, it's hella cute. I'm so happy for them. Lots of health to that gorgeous little baby. In other celebrity news. So Chapel Roan, which honestly I have the Chapel Roan hair color going on right now with this wig, but she was like a few weeks ago, facing some flack over having told fans no, and the internet was like going off because of her response to the whole situation. Honestly, my lovely hummingbirds, and I say this with the utmost love and care and respect, no matter the level of someone's fame, recognition, etc. Like, yes, while to some degree celebrities and artists and those of us that create content on the internet are nothing without those that view us and follow us and our fans and supporters, outside of this context, people are still simply just people. And I mean, it's not a secret that she has anxiety around strangers and individuals that like come up to her and all that stuff. But like, if she's with family and she's just out about minding her business, she's not in that like Chapel Roan stage presence. I don't know. It's one of those just like let people be kind of thing, if that makes sense. Time and place, y'all. In other celebrity news, this one is a little not so cutesy, not so mindful, not very demure. Jules LeBron, who created the demurity trend, and total queen, it took the internet by storm. So many people were having a whole fit and a half about the trend itself, and I was like, y'all cannot, it is 2024, we cannot be taking the internet this freaking seriously, first off. Secondly, people were like, everyone acts like they just discovered the word demure. It's a trend, y'all see the world literally on fire. Let people have a moment of like, okay, breakaway and joy for a hot second. Anywho, unfortunately, there was an individual that ended up trademarking and copywriting very demure, very mindful. They copyrighted the phrase, and now unfortunately Jules is not able to move forward and actually make money off of the trend that they have done. It's bringing into question, integrity of like artistic integrity and integrity around, oh my god, what is it? It's creative intent, things of that nature, or creative intelligence, where it's like, unfortunately, we do live in a society where patent first wins. So even if an individual is making money, is doing this, more often than not, if somebody else copyrights it, it's like it shuts down the person that originally created, originally used it for profit, did whatever, and basically bars their opportunities of having success and moving forward, which we do not stand. We do not like that. Hopefully Jules figures everything out soon. I haven't really looked into it this week, but I will definitely give y'all an update on next week's episode to see if like anything has changed regarding that. We finally, for all my Bridgerton babies, we finally have an announcement officially of who is going to be portraying Sophie Beckett, who is Benedict Bridgerton's love interest. It was supposed to be season 3, but it is in season 4, and it is Yaren Ha, and I really hope I said her name correctly. There was so much discourse online over who Sophie was going to be, if the storyline was going to change, as we have seen changes since the start of the series. The most notable one right now that has caused quite a bit of uproar is the change of Michael, who is supposed to be Francesca's second husband, into Michaela is her name? Something like that. I have to finish watching this season. Your girl's been real busy, but there was a really big uproar. And then there was also this theory floating around that Cressida was going to end up being Sophie Beckett, like that they were gonna switch out the characters or like merge them together just because, or involved to some capacity just because of Emarinta is pretty sure. No, I might be mixing a Kotar and Bridgerton right now, but Emarinta. Y'all, I blind reacted to the freaking Kotar audiobook sound, and I'm like, look here. Oh, sorry, I got mad sleepy for no reason right there. I'm like, this is why. I know. Voices are a thing for me, apparently. I should have known. All the anime and 2D characters I have fallen for, I should have known. Complete distraction on that one, but the thought process was that they were going to switch her over, and people obviously were not happy with that fact just because they were like, okay, so is it going to be like Cressida's stepsister? Is it actually going to be her? Because I cannot start feeling bad at loving this character. Was a lot of the discourse. Another part of it was there was conversation around, and I can't remember who the initial actress whose name was floating around that was going to be Sophie was, but people were like, and I'm like, y'all treading on the line of racist on that one. But the discussion was, oh, do we really need to make Sophie black as well? Can we get a different kind of representation? And I guess Shonda Land and her whole team listened, or unless this was the plan all along, other concerns of individuals, because Sophie's storyline is very Cinderella, very, she's kind of living in indentured servitude to her stepmom and stepsisters, or her mom and stepsisters. I'm doing a whole reread of Bridgerton too. The amount of books and shows and movies that I am reading and watching, y'all, I'm busy. But I keep catching glimpses of myself, obviously, and I'm like, I love this. It's such a pretty look. Okay, focus, Monroe, focus. So it is, people were saying basically, like, if the female lead for Sophie were black or African American or black British and or African, that the concept of indentured servitude might be a bit too close to the topic of slavery. Is that something really that they wanted to go for? And people were in a bit of an uproar asking for different types of representation. If y'all have seen any of the Bridgerton trends on TikTok, my favorite is literally like Renaissance Don Omar, and everyone is like, this is why there aren't Latinos in Bridgerton, because everyone just starts getting low. They're fucking perreando mid-song, and I'm like, y'all. I mean, okay, but anywho, I am excited to see how the series is going to progress, especially when it comes to Francesca, because of that change of, like, because, like, spoilers, y'all, I'm sorry if you don't know yet, but John dies. And she mourns him for a really long time. I'm still curious if they're gonna go the route of and they were roommates type of thing, or if they're gonna, like, because it's not actual history, the show, it's just loosely based on history. So are they going to make it so that the queen makes, like, some law and allows them to be together, which would be super heartbreaking, because that means Brimsley never got to have his happily ever after, and that lives rent free in my mind. Or maybe she finds out that, like, Brimsley was in love with a man and that has her have this big change of heart, and then Parliament's like, and then, you know, that'd be pretty cool. Historically accurate, no, but it'd be pretty fucking cool. Show-wise, right? Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to develop. I can't wait to see Benedict in love. I love Benedict's story. It's heartbreaking. But I love it. Pollen so far is kind of stressing me out. And I feel like that's also why I had to pause on the second part of season 3. I was like, although we know what's going to happen, but not really, but kind of, because, you know, if you read the books, you know, but you don't know, because there are changes. But still, I cannot stand Eloise right now. And I'm like, no. You guys are supposed to be besties. You're supposed to be happy for her. Anyway, my Bridgerton update/rant aside. So let's talk a bit about Jefferson Bates. Was the guy that bought the Demure. He did the copyright on it. Let's talk a bit about the DNC. And I am still gonna watch it, so I was not able to tune in the entire time that it was happening live. So I am doing a rewatch of it, and I am gonna discuss it further as we get closer to November, especially. But a few things. There is a really strong focus right now on the country's leadership, not only pertaining to everything that's going on here stateside with the economy, with the housing market, with the fact that, like, why is rent fucking $3,000 for 600 square feet? When people don't even make that and we're expected to pay 3 times the rent. Anyway, that is one of the things. The amount of money that it costs just to buy groceries, the amount of money for work-life balance, everything. Everything is expensive. But to the point where it really feels like to simply just exist is becoming a luxury. Especially considering that it is Suicide Awareness Prevention Month. Or Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Jeez, these words, what are they? And I mean, it is not easy. It is not easy dealing with mental health, dealing with physical health, and economic health on top of that being an added stressor, to the point where doing what should be enough is not even the bare minimum. And I mean, the amount of people that I have heard that have 2, 3, 4 jobs at a time is insane at the rate that it is rising as well. Livable wages is not really something that is said with such frequency. And I keep reading all these articles about, like, millennials are the richest generation, and I'm like, where? Where are these riches? Please show me. Because it's either all the millennials are moving back home or all the millennials are rich. Which one? And besides the focus, like, economically and housing issues, there is also a very big focus, of course, on women and reproductive health, and we're going to touch upon that on a separate episode. But on our foreign policy and foreign involvement, I think it was a couple days ago. Yeah, a couple days ago. It was like a few days ago, where U.S. Marines were attacked in Turkey and basically told to leave, and calling them Yankees and all this stuff. And not only that, but also the continuing conflict occurring between Israel and Palestine. and the policies. I know that some of the parents of the hostages did get on stage during the DNC, and it was Georgia State Representative Ruwa Rahman. She is a Palestinian American. She was Georgia State Representative. She was denied access to speak at the DNC. I watched the video, and honestly, it was fucking heartbreaking because she basically said, like, all we really wanted was people to listen and have at least that bit of hope, and you can't even give us that type of thing. However, tensions are rising high, especially with the discovery by the IDF of 6 hostages that were shot and killed by Hamas, found in a tunnel under Gaza. It is heartbreaking. My heart goes out to those families, and oftentimes in times of war, it is so sad to see that both sides are screaming for the same thing of ceasefire, stop the genocide, stop the massacre, bring hostages home, and it is falling upon a battle of war, politics, power, and money. And oftentimes every time that there is war, those that suffer most are the innocent, are those that have no involvement in it, those that cannot protect themselves from it. I am going to give a bit more details about all of that in next week's episode, just because it is still developing and there's more things coming out from it. I know a protest launched in Israel begging Netanyahu to come to an agreement because of the hostages being discovered. Honestly, it's so fucking sad. Like, I saw it was on a British news channel. It was the Sky, and one of the hostages basically in the video saying, they only showed a clip of it. Sorry, ambulance passed by. They did show a clip of it of one of them. One of the hostages, and she was basically telling her family how much she loved them. And I'm watching this video and I'm just like, yo, I literally want to fall into tears right now because that girl looks scared, right? Like, she does not look well. And I don't know if it's my years of Criminal Minds, but it was a thought that came into my head as I was watching it. I was like, you know, when it comes to a hostage situation, you never really know under what conditions a video was taken. And like, immediately after that, one of the reporters that was doing the news segment was like, in a hostage situation, like, you never know. It can be done under any method, whether willingly or some form of coercion. It is sad and heartbreaking. The more that things continue to develop, I am seeing things from both sides, from those that support Israel and those that support Palestine. And, well, there's more than two sides to it, right? Because then there's all the other variants in between. And my heart goes out, like I said, to those families, to all those that have lost someone due to this conflict, due to the events of October 7th and on. But I am gonna cover it more next week, do a bit more research, see more of like what's going on, and hopefully soon Like, it's about to be a year of this happening, and the protests are still there. People are still shouting, you know, for the freedom of the Palestinian people, for the return of the hostages, and it's like, I don't know, it really feels like it's falling on deaf ears. Keep your heads up, my lovely hummingbirds. Keep pushing, keep voicing, keep doing the right thing. Another reason for the eyes on foreign policy, besides what occurred in Istanbul, we also have, unfortunately, a murder that occurred earlier last month of, you see random pauses, it's because people are driving by blasting music and I can't put that on YouTube, but Dr. Mumita Rabnath, and it has brought in question the safety of women and doctors in India. There have been many protests seeking justice. I mean, their government is handling it to the best of their abilities. They have removed state police from continuing the investigation over there just because of fears of messing with the evidence. And I don't know what's gonna happen. It's especially because, like, India was under British rule for quite some time, and we know, my lovely hummingbirds, history has a nasty little tendency of repeating itself, and the powers that be, in this case being US and Great Britain, have a tendency of going into countries to assist with their politics, and I don't know how I feel about it. I hope they come to a conclusion and they bring Dr. Rabnath justice, because she did not deserve it the way in which she deserved to live. She deserved to still be here, and honestly, it's heartbreaking. In other news, so if you like to travel, my lovely hummingbirds, and you're like, oh my god, you know what's my favorite part of traveling in the States? I don't need a passport to travel in the States. Well, news for y'all, starting May 7th of next year. Okay, so May 7th, 2025. That is exactly tries to do math. Wow, I can't think of it. I was gonna say about as much as it takes for a baby to come to Earth. Lord have mercy. It's about 7-8 months away now. It is going to be mandatory that everyone has a real ID for domestic flights. So if you plan on traveling at any point in the US, you're gonna need a specific identification to do so, or have your passport as an alternative along with your state provided form of identification, whether that is a state ID or a driver's license. And I was like, what? Granted, I feel like we were told this a few years ago, but also like, damn, 2025 got here so fast. So my lovely hummingbirds, if you are about to update or have not yet, or have, y'all just go ahead and get the real ID. Just go ahead and get it. Save yourself the step. Save yourself having to make that appointment at the DMV all over again to go and get it. Just make sure you have that down packed. In Disney-related news, Snow White is getting a lot of flack for the trailer of the live action with Rachel Ziegler. Again, I think a lot of the promotion that initially happened definitely damaged the film itself and the promotion of it. There have been so many remakes to the film itself where, like, they changed the height of the dwarves. They were like that weird promotion, like, yes, and she's not gonna be saved by a prince, and I'm like, yo, but like, okay, but we already have Snow White and the Huntsman. Shout out Bella Swan, Kristen Stewart. You know, like there's so many things. And then also Rachel Ziegler is Latina, and while I love me some good representation on screen, hay Latinas blancas that we could have put in that situation only because the description of the character is literally her whole thing. That is her whole thing. Skin as white as snow, right? And that has been part of the uproar, especially since, like, people had an issue with Halle Bailey being Little Mermaid, which I had no issue with. She fucking killed it. But there is just a really big uproar of all the modifications that Disney has done in turn to be more inclusive, to be more woke, if you will. And it honestly has, to some degree, bit them in the butt. There are things that they have done that are really great, and I'm like, okay, cool, love this. And there are some where it becomes a thing of like, are you recreating a story using the original as inspiration versus bringing it forward for what it is to film, or just the inspiration aspect? I don't know. And more on Disney in October. Because we're going to do a full Disney episode, y'all. But it is officially, at least when it comes to Chicago summer, the end of Chicago summer. And that is why we're also wearing purple. Because as they said on Scooby-Doo, purple is the fall color. It is not summer. And I love it. So that's why we're doing Daphne, okay? She has the still warm, sunny vibes, but also purple as we transition into fall. And it is already spooky season, and it's been spooky season since July 5th. I just want to let y'all know. We just had ARC North Coast and the Chicago Jazz Festival wrapping up the summer here in the city. My heart breaks. I can't believe summertime is over. I love the summertime, y'all. Fall and summer go neck and neck as far as my favorite seasons, but nothing beats a Chicago summer. And it's over. And now I'm sitting here like, what did I do all summer? It always feels like I've done nothing. But that does not mean we will be activity free, okay, y'all? The pumpkin patches, the spookiness, the 1,000 jack-o'-lanterns thing that is done every year, the wine festival. There are many activities that we still have to do. Crunching through leaves at your favorite park. But yeah. That said, let us now get into today's topic of conversation. For today's topic of conversation, I'm a damsel in distress and I can handle it. Thank you very much. That's not what she says. She says, see you later. But Daphne Blake's character, okay, has always been given this image of she's cute, she's stylish, she's in heels, she knows how to dress, she's always in danger. She's literally called, what does Freddy say even in one of the original Scooby-Doo episodes? He's like, no thanks to danger-prone Daphne. And I'm like, excuse you, sir, that is your wife. And not me personally offended by 2D characters. So Daphne, she has that air to her, that persona where she's always getting in danger. She's always the one they have to go rescue. Scooby and Shaggy are the ones that, like, the plan always falls through because they end up messing it up somehow, but in the end it all works out. Freddy makes the plans and Velma is the brains, skeptic, logic to the whole shebang. As time progresses, Daphne, which so fitting that I am doing Daphne Blake on a podcast, because Coast to Coast with Daphne Blake. I love Scooby-Doo, y'all. I'm obsessed. If you couldn't tell. All those movies I showed. Okay, just a little tangent right now. I showed my niece, pobrecita. She was all sick, and I was like, you want to get a caldito and some tea and watch Scooby-Doo? And she just nodded and was like, yeah, and I put it on. She had no idea. She'd never seen it. Fell in love. She was like, oh my god, these are the greatest movies ever. And I was like, I told you you'd like it. They're not even scary. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm so proud. I'm so happy. Good job. So, control yourself, Monroe. Yeah, I just get so geeked. But as time progressed, both in the series and moving so more towards the newer series and the films, both to like animated and real life, she does take on a different character. As I mentioned in the cartoon ones, she does Daphne Blake Coast to Coast, where she does interviews, like basically following what the Mystery Inc. gang did of unmasking ghosts, but she does it with the sense of like, no, I want to find a real one type of thing, because it's always the guy behind a mask, right? And those movies are so good. But she does show a more refined, more intelligent outlook to her character versus just being the damsel in distress that they have to rescue at every turn. In what movie is it? It is Scooby-Doo. It's Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Island, I think. Is it? Scooby-Doo 2 is Monsters Unleashed, and that's the one at the museum. As soon as it said Unleashed, I pictured the freaking glass things where all the monsters come out, and that's when Scooby and Shaggy end up at the villains club, and they have a whole little dance montage. So cute. But things that live rent-free in my mind. The first one is they basically have a whole issue with each other and the stereotypes that have been formed around them. One of them being Daphne is the damsel in distress, and Velma is simply the brains, and Scooby and Shaggy just goof off, and you know, things like that. They are then hired to go to an island. Why am I getting into the synopsis of the film? Hold on. They basically get hired. I'll reunite, and Daphne has since learned like martial arts and all this stuff to protect and defend herself. What is a damsel in distress? Well, a damsel is essentially a lady. Someone that is seen as not fragile, but definitely more soft, more frail, more delicate. Delicate is the word I was looking for. More delicate, someone that requires help and assistance from other individuals to go about their day-to-day. Very, very cutesy, very in need of assistance, especially when the in distress part comes in. Being a damsel in distress means like you always need to be rescued, which is Daphne Blake's whole shtick, especially in the original cartoon series. Although she is still very intelligent, very fashionable, all of that, wealthy as shit, she still needs to get rescued. I was looking at a notification. She definitely still needs to get rescued by her team, who is seeming as like more strong, more put together in that sense, or even when it comes to Velma, smarter. And a lot of it is based around her appearance, the way she looks, the way she dresses, and the way she carries herself. Why am I using Megara's line from Hercules of I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it? Well, one, I love that line, and two, it definitely reminded me of Daphne kicking butt and then being like, how's that for damsel in distress? Which is my favorite line. Oftentimes, in the journey of life, love, and self-healing, right, it is difficult to voice when things are not well. It is difficult to be a person, especially because, like, when was it? Around, like, the past few years, pretty privilege has definitely come to the forefront, and how there is this perception that, like, you just get more by being, inherently by just being pretty. Granted, I am not here to approve or disapprove of that theory, but the way in which we carry ourselves on like a day-to-day basis does impact the mindset that people have about us because of their preconceived notions over a situation, a stereotype, a thought process over if a person is wearing this, then they are automatically that, right? For example, currently, I don't have any pretty nails on. My nail polish, she is struggling. She's holding on for dear life, but I'm totally gonna wipe her clean in a second. Whenever I wear pretty nails, mind you, I'm a grown-ass woman that lived on her own for a couple years. And I still wore pretty nails even then. I have had people tell me, oh, well, you can't open this because of that when it comes to the nails. Oh, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, because I haven't worn nails or grown out my own damn near my whole life and done all of this anyway. Okay. It comes with this notion, with this mindset that if you look good and you take care of your outward image, then you are automatically deemed as frail, weak, lesser than, or like you value the way you physically show up much more than you do any internal strengths, values, or physical ones for that matter. When that could simply not be true. Have y'all seen all the gym baddies on the internet? That bitches is bad. They are so fine. But when it comes to journey of life, love, and self-healing, there comes a point, my lovely hummingbirds, where, because it happens in waves, right? There is no linear way to healing, and healing is kind of a forever thing. The more we learn, the more we grow, the more we heal, the more we keep on just being gorgeous God-given gifts on this earth. And the reason I picked Daphne is because of that line of how's that for damsel in distress, right? She built her character to be a character that, or the writers did, but still. She pushes herself to a point of, I always needed help, and it was always inherently a problem, so let me not need help ever again from anyone. And it leads her to opening up her own business and, you know, doing the coast to coast thing and being even slightly skeptical at times to a fault and not always to her safety. Learning martial arts to best defend herself, but also being a little more headstrong when going after things because of that learned knowledge of like, well, I know this now, so that won't fucking hurt me. And there isn't as much afterthought or forethought put into a what could be dangerous situation. When it comes to Megara, she was making a deal for Hades. And poor lover boy was getting caught in the middle, Hercules. But in that situation, she did things from a space of love, ended up selling her soul, and he ends up leaving her for some babe. And then she's like, oh my god, no chance, no way, I won't say I'm in love. I will not fall for Hercules and all his rippling pectorals, right? Being a damsel in distress takes a whole lot of navigating, learning, and unlearning in the process. Because there are times, my lovely hummingbirds, in the journey of life, love, and self-healing, where it is going to require us to essentially take care of our damn selves. To not be able to depend on others, whether it is because we have done so frequently in the past that we either no longer wish to burden individuals with our pains, or have learned that while these people might care for us, we inherently are a nuisance to them because of our pains. Sad, but it does happen. Trust me, I've been there. I've been in some situations where I'm like, it's just me and God on this one. I have no one I can call. Even though, love my besties, love them to bits, love friends, family, all that. There are moments where I'm like, no, this is on me, right? I have to take care of me. And for better or for worse, we always make it through. Being a damsel in distress with an I can handle it mindset all the time, unfortunately, can also lead to a sense of hyper independence, lack of social awareness, lack of social accountability, as well as a distance in relationships, friendships, etc. It is okay to be soft. I know life is lifing at times, my lovely hummingbirds. I know that bitch got hands, okay? And I know that lessons, especially along the spiritual journey, are not easy. But it is okay to also need help. It's okay to embrace those aspects of yourself that you're not so quite proud about. It's okay to ask for help. Because I would rather, my lovely hummingbirds, you ask someone for help that you're kind of afraid that you'll inconvenience, versus you swallowing everything down thinking, I can handle it myself always, all the time, forever, and you no longer being in the earthly realm. While it is hard navigating life at times, especially when it's people that we most care about judging us, whether it is through the perception of the person they think we should be, the person they think we can be, the image that they have created of us in their minds as the person that we are, or them actually viewing us for who we are. We cannot live catering our character, catering our persona, catering who we are to those mindsets, to those ideologies. Being a damsel in distress when you are stressed is a-okay. Being able to say that you cannot handle it, my lovely hummingbirds, is also okay. Being vulnerable and true to you is okay. And if that pushes people away, and if that scares people away, then those people were not meant to be there. There are moments where it does have to just be between you and God, my lovely hummingbirds. Trust me, there are. But it's okay to say, hey, I need help right now. Hey, I can't do this on my own. Hey, your words do affect me. Hey, I dress this way because I like it. I wear this because it makes me feel good. I put on pretty nails because I was gonna say it's an extension of my own hand. It's like claws. Or I love the pretty designs that are on it, or whatever it is. You cannot guide yourself to a road of a soft life if you keep hardening your heart in the process. You will always be battling yourself if you try to be hard internally, but accept soft treatment or expect soft treatment while being harsh with everybody else. Life is a little bit give and take. It's about reciprocity. And if you are in an environment, my lovely hummingbirds, where because we all as humans require different levels of attention, affection, and everything in between. If you feel like you are a burden to the people that surround you, trust me when I tell you, you are not. You are simply around the wrong people. And I don't mean like negative mindset burden comes to mind of like, oh, but this because of the conditioning that you learned in your childhood or whatever point that you were traumatized when it came to speaking up about your needs. But where you can visibly see, or it is said to you, yes, there are times where correction is internal. I'm not going to say there aren't. Lord, am I not going to say that there aren't, because yes. But there are times where if you can't be vulnerable around the people that surround you, then you need to look at who's surrounding you, my lovely hummingbirds. Because if your best friends aren't out here making the bar 1,000 times up there so that anyone that tries to be with you after is not trying to beat that bar, they're not the one. But it's okay to be a damsel. It's okay to pamper yourself. The way that you look, the way that you carry yourself does not change the quality of your character nor your capabilities. That goes for, and this came into my head like it just popped in, for all my lovely hummingbirds that are tatted up and you're like, oh my god, it's ruining my image. That is not the environment for you. These people need to get it together. I thought of like people in the medical industry, like CNAs, RNAs, like doctors even, where like if they're tatted and people are like, oh my god, they have tattoos. Okay, and they also clearly have this PhD. Like get to it, doctor. Save my life. I don't know. I don't know why that popped into my head. What channeling is going on here? Anyway, that's it for me, for you, for today. Yes, that's it, my lovely hummingbirds. Don't worry, we're gonna have a reading. It's not gonna be in the same cosplay. Just because your girl has to go to work, and I don't know how long that reading is gonna be. I do not know. I'm a little nervous for this one because it is going to be a general collective reading, so best of luck to me in that editing. But my lovely hummingbirds, just remember, while it is okay to show up and show the fuck out for yourself, it's also okay to lean on people. You're not a burden. And don't let anyone else convince you for your whole life that you are, because you're not. We all deserve grace. We all deserve happiness. And we're all deserving of a shoulder to cry on. Because the baddies get saddies too. Okay, that's it. That's all I got, my lovely hummingbirds. I love you all so much. I hope you enjoyed the makeup look. I hope you enjoyed my motivational ramblings. As always, les mando mucha paz, muchos besos, y les recuerdo que miren hacia la luna. Sending you much peace, many kisses, and reminding you to always look up at the moon. I love you all so much. I'll catch y'all in the next one, mañana. And yeah, that's it. Stay tuned. I'll channel for the reading. Okay, thank you. I love you. Bye.